It's a new day, and that means new stories from Ocean Story. Let's begin. I had my daughter 10 years ago. My wife and I divorced before we even knew. She was pregnant, and when my daughter was born, she was dating another guy. He seemed like a good guy and wanted to be in my daughter's life, and I wasn't interested in staying in her life. So we just agreed that it would be better if he became her dad and raised her instead of me. But I didn't give up my rights because I was afraid that one day I might regret it. And I was right, because over time, I started to regret my decision. I decided to meet with my daughter, and she wanted to meet me and talk to me too. By far, it's the best decision I've ever made. She is charming and sweet, and I love her very much. I met her 3 months ago. I decided to ask her mom if I could take her on a trip. Ever since we returned from the trip, my ex wouldn't let me see my daughter, always making excuses. She often said that she was busy with her homework or that she was not at home right now. Yesterday, my daughter called me. She asked me angrily why I had gone to visit my friends in another state again. I asked her what she meant, and she said that her mom told her to. I was teary-eyed and immediately called her mom. I said some unpleasant words to her and asked her why did she tell her that, and she started yelling at me and saying that I had made their life much more difficult by becoming a daddy like in the movies, because my daughter constantly compares me to her stepfather, and she asks him why he doesn't play with her, why he doesn't take her on trips. Recently, she stopped calling him dad, and then she hung up on me. I came back into my daughter's life, and everything is going very well. But now, my ex says I'm an idiot and don't think about others. By the way, I can't take my daughter half the time because it's too early. I came into her life only 3 or 5 months ago. She hardly knows me. Zoe, let me start. You missed the first steps, and not only you. And now you just want to dance and play Daddy of the Year. You missed the night feedings, the diaper changes, the lack of sleep, the sickness, the tantrums, all of it. Levy, that family is right. You can't just show up in her life for fun. You ignored the child for the first 10 years. If you want to be with her, start by spending time together day in and day out. Don't kidnap her for vacations. You said that it's too early for you to give her half a day or the whole day. But why isn't it too early to take her on a full week's vacation? If you are really serious about it, then take her for 1 day a week and gradually build your relationship. Without these sudden appearances, Owen, you came back into her life only 3 months ago. Did her mom let you take her on the trip to a complete stranger? Someone who waited 10 years to decide to show up. What kind of parent thinks this is a good idea? You had to go to court first and get permission to visit, and only then do you have to pay or shut up. I hope my assumption is that you haven't been paying child support. It's completely false. Otherwise, 10 years of not paying child support will be painful for you. Zoe, 10 years is a hell of a long time for her to raise a child and for you to come and do only carefree and fun things. You're acting like a Disney dad, although I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's unfair to the mother of your child and to the family dynamic in general. If you want to play a bigger role, you need to ask for custody. But right now, I would say that you should do the right thing. Now I want to tell a different story. My parents had 2 girls. I am 18 years old and my sister is 16. It always seemed to me that my parents saw me as a nanny, like a third adult in the house, and they were waiting for me to become an adult, whereas my sister was their child. They spoil her to no end. They adore her. She has never needed anything. My parents do everything to make her happy and content. As long as I can remember, I was expected to help take care of my sister. She has no major needs. My sister has never been sick. She was not even premature. I remember coming home from school and my mother asking me to help feed my sister. She asked me to look after her whenever I was free. Later, when she came and went from the house, I was told that I should play with her. If my sister was upset, she missed me very much. My mom and dad constantly insisted that I spend my time with her when I was at home. She always wanted something. My sister could talk to her friends whenever she wanted. We would go out as a family, and if she wanted something, she would get it. But I was told to behave according to my age, when I had birthday parties or sleepovers, which my parents never allowed me to do. I never went to sleepovers, other friends' houses. There were times when her parents took her to really interesting events, and I was left behind or at home. Over time, my sister began to get annoyed by my reticence. When I was about 16 years old, I withdrew into myself. I am gloomy around them. I stopped participating in the family. It's like I'm taking punishment instead of doing housework because my sister has no responsibilities at home. My parents do not like that. I will not be a little housewife, which they wanted me to be. My sister told me that I am a rascal and ungrateful for not helping our cool parents. Over time, it only got worse. Then she heard that I was going to leave with my friends in a couple of months to the mountains for a vacation. She was so angry that I was going to leave the family. She made it sound like I hadn't told my family anything. She was talking about how mom and dad were saving money for us to go to college, and I just wanted to run away like that. Something broke inside me when she said that. I told her that she had college money waiting for her, and I didn't. Just like she could have anything she wanted. Being told how to behave, to act like I should at my age, and not want anything. I told her clearly what she expected of me, that I will be her servant when I get nothing, and she gets everything from her parents. I told her that I am not much older than her, but everyone expects me to be an adult. Then I asked her how she would feel if she had to run after a younger brother or sister, doing most of the household chores and schoolwork and not having time to hang out with friends. There's only one reason why you're not doing well. It's because you're working, but it's exhausting, because you already have so many things to do. I told my sister that this is my life, and she doesn't make me want to stay any more than our mom and dad do. Simply put, she got upset, and she called me an idiot for being so rude to her. My sister said I was a bad sister, and all because I put all this on her shoulders. Samuel, my sister said, I was a fool for putting all this on her shoulders. Damn, but that was okay, as long as it was on your shoulders. Girl, on your shoulders for all these days and years. It sounds like she needs a reality check, and you need to get out of there very quickly and far away. Your childhood was stolen from you. Don't let them do it again. Canela, there's a big difference between being mean and being honest in an important moment. You didn't call her names. You didn't say things that might have hurt her. All you did was tell her how you felt all these years. Andrew, if her reaction to you saying that you had nothing all your life, and at the same time she had everything, she calls you an idiot and a bad sister, your sister, she went too far. I want to think that maybe later in life, she will realize what happened. She'll try to make amends, and you might have a sister. But just in case, do a paternity test when you're free. I have a suspicion that she might be your half-sister. Julian, it's not surprising, but I thought so too. A large child from another man. Something tells me that one of the parents was having an affair. They decided to try to improve their relationship, but unfortunately, their child was at the epicenter of the accumulated resentment, or maybe it's some kind of strange hereditary tradition. When an older brother or sister is expected to, will live in the maid's or butler's house. When the other sibling is born, it's still as messy and bad as the previous case. My next story. So, my husband is a joker and loves to play pranks on everyone. He has a habit of pulling pranks, especially on my holidays like my birthday. He thinks my reaction is funny and tense. He says I should relax and be very happy because he makes my birthdays very funny, but in reality, it upsets me. It also puts me in a position where I'm being made fun of, and it is not uncommon for all those present to video record his jokes. Last Monday, he planned to celebrate my 27th birthday at a cafe. I told him that I wouldn't go if he was going to pull one of those pranks, which he is known for because it's a public place. I don't want to be publicly humiliated. He swore on his mother, put his hand on the Bible. He promised me and brought me 3. I was not going to have any witnesses. I signed the agreement. He would take me to the island if he played a trick on me. I believed him and said I would go. I had to cancel a meeting with my friends who wanted to celebrate at their house. On the day of my birthday, I received a message from the wife of one of his friends. She said that she heard him telling her husband about a prank, that he was going to play a prank on me in a cafe. I was stunned when she described the plan in detail. I felt so upset and anxious. He had already gone to the cafe to make sure everything was ready. I sat there for a while, thought about it, and decided not to go. He started calling me, then texting me. My husband asked where I was and said that the party was about to start without me. I turned off my phone and went to my parents' house, where I had a modest celebration at home. I returned home at 20 o'clock and found my husband there. He was seriously angry with me. He attacked me, asking, "Why didn't I come to the party?" After he had invested money, time, and effort in it. I told him the reason, and he called his friend's wife a liar, and he reminded me of all the promises he had made. He started accusing me of not trusting his word. I said that I couldn't risk letting him ruin another one of my birthdays. That night, we had a big fight. Over time, he came off as cold-blooded, pointing out how I had embarrassed him, how I had wasted his time and money by not showing up at the party. "Michael, you just played a prank on him by not showing up. Why doesn't he find it funny? He needs to relax. He's overreacting to a little thing like that. Are you even sure he likes you? He's calling your reaction to being made fun of and publicly humiliated in front of his family and friends, saying you're funny. He does not take your feelings seriously and does not take them into account at all. Instead, he keeps doing it, thinking it's so cool and you're thrilled. If his friend's wife was a liar, she would probably not be able to tell you in detail about the prank he pulled. Logan, pretty much every story I've seen about pranks, they're just immature assholes using the prank as an excuse to be immature assholes, not people. He probably got a friend involved and was going to pull the prank that way, so that it wasn't him, but his friend who made it up, and the man does not break their agreement. Mela, maybe I'm just stupid, but it seems to me, if you need him to do this, swear on your mother. Swear on the Bible to promise you, bring 3 witnesses. Write an agreement that he will take you on vacation if he plays a prank on you. Sophia, if you still have doubts, this is not a marriage worth being in. I personally could not live with that kind of mistrust. It's amazing that you both treated it like that, as if it was a normal conversation. This shows how deeply you yourself have fallen into deception. Grace, it's hard to agree. I can't imagine living and being in a relationship with a person who is not trustworthy, not let alone someone who made me the butt of his jokes in front of friends, relatives, and other people. I just can't. Gabriel, what I want to know is why she married a moron in the first place, who thinks it's funny to mock their own wife. It's probably not just the wedding. It's also the fact that the girl's parents wanted to celebrate her birthday at home, probably away from her husband, speaks volumes. A story that really surprised me. I have been dating my girlfriend for over 2 years. She has a daughter we call Nora. She is turning 18 in 3 weeks. I have a daughter of my own who I have joint custody of. Let's call her Stella. She is 8 years old. Her mother sees her on weekends. Because of her personal problems, she does not take care of Stella. She only cares about her during her weekend visits. Even when she returns, the daughter doesn't look well taken care of. But unfortunately, it's a court order. Our separation was decided on both sides, so we maintain a relatively calm and friendly relationship despite her problems. I am currently going through a difficult time. I was fired from my job 3 months ago and only recently found another job. In the meantime, my wife is doing handicrafts to earn money. Our savings have only decreased during this time when my daughter's birthday was approaching. We used to throw a party or buy her a present, whatever she wanted. Back then, it was a stargazing kit that cost $220. My girlfriend and I decided that it would be better to celebrate in private, without inviting dozens of friends, by giving her a gift she would love. We didn't invite any family or friends, all to avoid unnecessary expenses and judgment. We just wanted her to enjoy the gift and play games with us. Stella was a little disappointed when we explained to her how exactly we were going to celebrate her birthday, but she seemed to have a good time and was happy when she knew she was going to get what she wanted. In 5 days, my best friend's daughter's birthday is coming up. We have some money, so I wanted to throw her a nice sweet birthday party. I'm not sure if this can be considered a big deal, but back when I was a teenager, all my friends threw big parties. During the planning, my ex offered to buy a whole birthday cake for Stella. That way, when close friends were singing her birthday greetings, she could have it. She also had the opportunity to make a wish, to feel special with her sister. She even suggested inviting 2 of Stella's friends so they could spend the night away from all the older girls. I told her I had to decline, especially since it was supposed to be a special day for Chloe. But Stella seemed happy with what she had already received. Besides, it had been more than 3 weeks. It would be a bit silly. My ex accused me of only caring about my new baby, that she would never despise Stella the way I despise clothes. Since then, she has been very hostile to me, and it doesn't look like she will get over it anytime soon. Dylan, was that an unreasonable request? Let me explain a little bit. Stella was used to typical middle-class kids' parties. She wanted to go to McDonald's with her friends, but we just couldn't do it at the time. This year, we are renting a local facility with a pool and throwing a party there with a local DJ. The fact that we didn't have money before, and now we do, doesn't change the fact that we throw an elaborate party for one of our daughters, canceling the other's birthday. Of course, she may feel guilty and seem less appreciated. Or worse, it might look like this, as if we skipped her party to afford our friend's daughter's birthday. The fact that more money is spent a month later on a full-fledged birthday party for another child is just salt in the wound. Carter, of course you don't have to make a cake and invite Stella's friends and instead offer her a makeover party on another date. But your ex is right, and you have done wrong to your daughter Stella. There is no reason not to make it up to her for not throwing her a party sooner. It could be important to her. Hazel, why are you paying for such a grand birthday party? For your friend's daughter? Why didn't you put that money back into a savings account? Which one did you have to rob for this holiday? Why isn't your girlfriend, the birthday girl's mom, paying for this? If you didn't win the TV lottery, how did you suddenly have such a change in finances? Where is the birthday girl's father in all this? Why didn't her mom save money for such a round date? You should tell your daughter why you didn't earn money for the holiday yourself. Sawyer, you spent so much money and effort on the birthday of a child who is not even his own, while his own child is being pushed to the background. You see, she is not even his daughter, but the daughter of his girlfriend. Technically, he is not obliged to spend money on her. This is an act of a terrible father. Perhaps one day, when your daughter leaves, you will finally realize how badly you screwed up with her. Next story. My husband is 40 years old and I am 36 years old. We have been married for 7 years and together for 11 years. We have a daughter together who is 6 years old. My husband has a son, Sebastian, 14 years old from a previous relationship. Sebastian lived with his mother for most of his life. He visited us only twice a month. His mom got a new job, so he moved in with us a year ago. Sebastian has had a medical condition since childhood that has made him gradually deaf. His condition is gradually deteriorating. The child can still hear and speak, but only with special headphones, which help him to improve his hearing. But he said it was uncomfortable for him to wear headphones all the time. He became more proud of his condition and wants to accept it. Sebastian started learning sign language to expand his abilities. Because he did not live with us, I was not interested in such moments. Now everything changed. When he moved in with us, I saw him communicating with his friends in sign language. Of course, I asked him to teach me to make him feel accepted and comfortable. He was happy to teach me, even though he can speak and hear with headphones. We use this language to communicate with each other. My husband doesn't like sign language very much. He says that since Sebastian wears headphones, he has to make an effort. I grew up in a monolingual family. My husband grew up in a bilingual home, and he told me that he was taught that it is disrespectful to speak a language in a room where at least one person does not speak it. That's why he thinks that Sebastian and I are disrespectful when we speak sign language. After all, he is the only one who speaks it properly and feels excluded. 2 days ago, we were watching a movie. Sebastian started talking to me in sign language about some of the characters. So my husband got angry at both of us because we were making him feel excluded. He thought it was disrespectful. Because he doesn't know the language, I suggested that he learn it. So my stepson and I continued to speak in sign language. My husband said that I was making him look like a bad father because I speak the language and he doesn't know it. Later, he left the living room and went to our bedroom. He hasn't spoken to us, more than minimally yet. Sebastian thinks we tried sign language with me today. He says he knows where his dad is from because he knows what it's like to feel excluded, and Sebastian doesn't. David, I'm sorry you learned sign language for this child, and his stubborn biological father hasn't. Riley, that's almost insulting, and it's certainly not nice. His analogy with language doesn't fit, because it's a disability, not just another language like Italian or French. He needs to take some lessons to communicate properly with his son, and stop trying to force him to communicate in this way, as he clearly does not like and is not comfortable with. Gabriel, I can't, he says. He doesn't like sign language. What in the name of all people with disabilities did I just read? This young man, his own son, I just can't. Disabled people and abuse, what a winning combination. It breaks my heart. His own father won't even consider trying to learn his language. You are like a wonderful stepmother who makes him feel that he is loved and accepted. I would have a serious talk with your husband because this is not acceptable. Layla, besides, you don't live in a house where there are 3 languages. That is disrespectful. Don't learn just one language that Sebastian will hear in a few years. Many deaf people don't like to wear hearing aids to hear better because it is uncomfortable. When you are a parent, it is your role to adapt to your child's disability, not the other way around.